Welcome to Talk Flirty Podcast, the podcast where life is reflected through intimate conversation with me, your host, NikkiFWet.
Good. Then don't do it.
He know what I want to say.
Don't do it. Who, me or him?
Yeah, you.
Nah, don't do it.
He knows.
I don't know what you're saying, but don't do it.
He knows.
If I know, I don't know, but don't
you
say
know
it. If it don't need
what I've been telling you for the past.
About me?
Yeah.
First of all,
you know what I want to say.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I want
No,
to say.
don't say that on air. Don't say that on the show
Someone
after the show. Oh my God, no! Please don't do me like
about
that.
Something that I think.
Don't do me like that.
It's the after show. It's the
okay,
pilot.
it's the after show. Let's go. Wait. Who is it about?
Who you think?
It got something to do with Vegas?
Yeah.
This motherfucker, I'm tired of her. She swear to God that I got this fucking secret love interest in fucking NikkiFWet.
Oh, so you said it?
No, that's what you said.
No, I didn't even say it.
Because I know you said what we've been talking about.
I didn't say it.
So so that ain't what you've been telling me all week?
That was what I was going to say. But
okay,
you said
well,
it,
I'm saying it before you say it. I'm taking the power from you.
Okay, power.
So y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all heard the show, NikkiFWet of Talking Flirty Podcast.
He love her, right?
She said that I love this gal. She said I love this gal.
He do.
Me and Nikki is good. We good.
Real good.
Hey, we need to sit down one day, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, they real good.
We need to sit down, man.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Including Nikki?
Including Nikki.
Yeah. You see? Oh, you see that? You missed it. Pause.
It ain't gonna work because we had a big ass podcast before and it didn't work.
Well, you don't have to have everybody.
That's what I proposed. It's already.
It does matter.
It is what it is. Lord. Okay, it is what it is.
So my co-host on.
Who wants to take a shot?
My co-host on Seriously Not Another Podcast,
Ruby,
think that I have a love interest in NikkiFWet of Talking Flirty Podcast.
Do you?
We're gonna take a shot to.
Can you base that on
the Vegas wedding?
Who getting married in Vegas? You getting married?
Been ready. And
my nigga.
Talk Flirty.
Really?
Let's take a shot.
Oh, you're not getting
Give
married?
me a shot.
You're not getting married in Vegas?
Let's take a shot.
Now, can you explain to the people why you feel like I have a love interest in NikkiFWet?
Wait, what's this shot to again?
The wedding that's going to occur between Ben Ready and NikkiFWet, aka.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay, so.
But I need to know why you feel like I have a love interest. Tell the people. Uncut. Let's go.
Ben Nikki.
Because.
Ben Nikki.
Yeah.
Nikki
or it could be Bicky.
Nikki.
I like Bicky.
NikkiFWet.
What about Nikki?
Bicky got a ring.
What about Nikki Ben Wet?
No.
Nikki Ben
I like
Wet.
NikkiFWet. Yeah,
NikkiFWet.
What about
Nikki? I guess you could say
Nikki Ben Wet.
Okay, now why you think I had this love interest in
NikkiFWet.
NikkiFWet of the Talk Flirty Podcast?
Just because.
No,
you know,
that's not
I
gonna.
spend a lot of time
Let's call her up, man.
That's not gonna cut it.
Let's call Nikki, man.
Wait, she's in Vegas?
Yeah, time zone is that.
Same time.
I'm
Same time.
sure she's out.
Yeah,
she's out.
She's on the streets, the city that never sleeps. But can we get at least 2 reasons why you feel like I gotta have a love interest in Nikki?
Because y'all got insiders that don't nobody else know between you and her. That's number 1.
Okay.
Look, he couldn't even dispute that.
No, I'm listening.
And number 2, because she's always the first one to comment on your shit, and you're always the first one to comment on her shit.
Hey,
so this is what love interest is based off of. Okay, so
all the phones.
So fellas, you hear this? She said that based off of me commenting on her post first. Now she said that. Oh, let me take that. Hold on. It's tough. Okay, now me commenting on her post first. We have two fellas in here. I'm trying to get y'all insight on this. Now she said that me commenting on her post first,
and
me and her having inside jokes.
Inside.
means I have a love interest in NikkiFWet.
Love.
I'm on my boy Ben Ready's side on this.
Hey, but look, AC. All honesty, you really feel like I feel something for
Wow.
The truth comes out.
No. You
maybe.
Really,
Congratulations.
Look, maybe it's not.
Congratulations.
Maybe
Wait,
it's not
time out.
NikkiFWet.
He's just looking at me. That's all.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Looking at me, right?
But you honestly feel like I feel something for NikkiFWet.
Yes.
All honesty.
Becky. Yeah.
Nikki F. Ready.
I like NikkiFWet. You don't like NikkiFWet?
Not bad.
Yeah, Nikki F. Ready. Yes, I think that's
I have
how
my fair share of Nikki.
Yeah.
Look.
NikkiFWet.
NikkiFWet.
What you think?
I think Nikki is ready.
Hey. And Nikki normally girls who name Nikki normally have some nice titties.
I feel good to know that I definitely don't meet the qualifications of any of you guys at this table.
What?
So I know that I definitely don't have to worry about being
You out your damn mind. You meet my qualifications.
I don't have to worry about being preyed upon.
Shit.
Welcome back to another episode of Talk 40 Podcast. We have just listened to a snippet of the podcast, which airs here on Spreaker on Fridays from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Fridays. Seriously, it's called Seriously Not Another Podcast. I do shout that podcast out often with the host, Ben Ready. And I had prepared my show notes. I prepared my show notes before I had listened to that show. And it kind of ties right in with each other. So what I was going to talk about was an obstacle that's kind of difficult for me to get over, where, I realize that people do their own little psychoanalysis of everyone when they listen to them, when they interact with them. Because that's what we do. We formulate opinions based on experience and our knowledge of things. But for me, it's difficult. It's probably for a lot of people. We tend to stifle our own dreams or progress because we're so stuck in our own head trying to decipher what someone's opinion is about them, or what conversations are being had about them. And as I was listening to the show, maybe about 15, I watched their first show, which was from 9 to 11, and then they introduced this new segment, which is called The Show After the Show. And about 15 minutes in came this section, and I was sitting there this is that whole fly on the wall moment where you're thinking about one thing and you probably take it to the most extreme. But when it actually happens, or when the time comes to pass, it's not as bad as you thought. Not even close. So this was not any type of negative conversation, but what can I say? They all love Nikki. NikkiFWet. Nikki F. Ready had a nice ring to it. But it's NikkiFWet. The comment about being first on someone's post is so funny. That's so funny because I am always commenting on everybody's post. I support family. I support friends. I share. I react with not just a simple I don't know. I feel like I'm giving more support if I hit love or like a wow or something. I don't know. You know how those Facebook algorithms are? Let me go ahead and just, instead of 1 thumbs up, give 2 thumbs up with a wow or a love. But yeah. And it's kind of funny how the conversation transitioned, because they had a lot of shenanigans going on this show. But it's kind of like getting to, well, it's kind of like, you prepare yourself for maybe hate and negative talk about what you're doing, what things you're wanting to pursue. But every so often you are reminded that you have a positive impact on people. And no matter what types of things you may be, that you may feel hinders you, you always have to keep moving forward. And that was hilarious, just having that fly on the wall moment, because I had no idea that's how you felt, Benji. No, I'm just kidding. But that is so funny. Ben and I are super, super cool. And how he stated how he said the topic first before AC, and he mentioned, I'm taking the power back. That kind of aligns into the show Talk Flirty Podcast, because I think naturally people have a flirtatious nature, and Talk Flirty Podcast was kind of me taking back the power of flirtation, being flirtatious, taking back the power, like owning your own sexuality, making the decision to choose what you allow to penetrate your heart and mind, and what do you block out. And also to become aware of different opinions, different philosophies, the thoughts of other people. And so that's why Talk Flirty Podcast is a podcast where life is reflected through intimate conversations with me, your host, NikkiFWet. All right. But anyways, yeah. What else was I going to talk about? I'm going to play a clip from that I saw on Facebook, and it's about if a guy takes you on a date, and this lady's opinion on if they use a credit card versus paying cash or debit.
Y'all, don't let these niggas tell you he gonna take you on a date, and then when it's time to pay, nigga wanna pull out a fucking credit card like he a broke ass nigga. Don't take me on no date if you don't got your own cash, if you don't got your own debit card. Don't take me on no fucking date. That ain't taking me on no date pulling out your fucking credit card. You taking me on a date with the fucking government because you paying the damn government back for taking me on a damn date. So that mean you ain't never take me on a date, so that mean you owe me another fucking date, nigga. Let me put
I'm not sure that I understand her logic. Or even if a guy takes you on a date and is paying, which I think if they take you on the date, then of course they would pay. Now, I would not be worried if they paid card, credit card, debit. First of all, if you're at a nice restaurant, you're not gonna fucking sit there and enter your PIN number in no goddamn device at the table. So you never use debit at a restaurant. Unless it's a fucking, he take you to Denny's or some shit, and you pay as you walk out. So there's no debit card option. It's cash or card. It's just cash or card. There's no debit. So that's one thing. Second, if a person is using the credit card, I might have a few thoughts about that, and it would probably go something like, I wonder if he is paying the balance off in full. Does he wait until after the statement date? Does he know that it usually reports to your credit around, maybe around the 13th or so of each month? Or does he just make the minimum payments, make on time monthly payments? Because those are things, that's what you do. Those are things that you can do to establish and build credit. So, a person like this who is focused on somebody spending cash or a debit, that's just wasteful. Especially if you're taking a person out on a date. It's kind of like it's like an investment. So you kind of have to weigh your risk, like losses versus gains, I guess. So now also, I didn't read no goddamn comments, so it would be interesting to find out who the hell was agreeing with her. But yeah, that's not right. You don't pay with a card at a restaurant. They take you give them the card, fold their little book up, they come pick up the card, they take it back, run it. When they bring you back your card and your receipt, you sign the fucking receipt. You don't write your PIN number on the receipt so they can go process it as a debit payment. No, the shit is credit. And that's just the process. So whether the person has an immediate withdrawal or if they have something that they're going to be paying over time, the nigga is paying, unless he just don't give a shit about his credit and is just like living his best life for the last time. So yeah, we really got to educate our community about credit, finances. Also, another thing that was trending in this week was Jill Thought, formerly known as Scott, and her phallus worship. I think it was very impressive. I think Jill Scott has always had this animalistic, this very sexual, almost hedonistic ways of having you feel about the men that she describes in her songs, or the relationships that she tells stories about. And it's always been very, she's very poetic and it's very sexual. And so to see her on stage miming sucking dick is, of course, going to be hot, is of course going to be sexy for Jill Scott. And it's funny, my last show I was talking about sucking dick and riding shotgun in a car, and then here come Jill Scott ass massaging balls and putting spit on air balls. But I love Jill Scott. Her music is awesome. She's a dope artist. But she's not ranking too well on those relationships, but then again, neither am I. So hello kettle, my name's Pot. No, can't judge over here, but Jill Scott had everybody going crazy. All of a sudden, men want to post, "This is why BBW's always winning," or have been winning. And I don't think there's no such thing as losses, losing when it comes to finding sexual partners, or just in this whole game, because everybody seems to get their issue, no matter who. I mean, look at Welvin the Great, look at Ice JJ Fish, look at Flavor Flav. Nobody's ever missing out on anything. And BBW's been winning. Everybody's been winning. Honestly, if I was of age at the time of the Flavor of Love show, I would have applied for the Flavor of Love show. I applied for Bad Girls Club. I applied for America's Next Top Model. I applied for America's Next Top Model hella times, but I couldn't even get in the door. They was like, "You too short." So fuck all them. Honestly, you know what? That's not even a bad thing. They wouldn't let me in the door, so thank you for that. It's not like I went in and it was like, "Nah, bitch, you ugly. You get cut." So, yeah, no one wins. No one loses in this game. I definitely would have applied for Flavor of Love. In fact, when I applied for America's Next Top Model, that's how I found out I was not, in fact, 5'6". I'm like 5'5" and 3/4 ish. They did a season where they were removing the height restriction or lowering the height restriction down to 5'6". And on my driver's license, I'm 5'6". And I swear a doctor told me I was 5'6". And so I'm waiting in line. The line's hella long. The line is always hella long. And I finally get up there to the door before they let you walk in the door, because they stand you there and they measure you. You're not 5'6". And that was maybe like the second time that I had auditioned. I think I auditioned, or like I tried to audition like 3 times. But it just didn't work out. I even drove from Sacramento to LA. I love driving from Sacramento to LA, from Sacramento to Las Vegas. So I even took a road trip from Sacramento to LA to fucking audition for America's Next Top Model. And for some reason, the only CD that I had in my car was the soundtrack to Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I don't even know what that movie, I don't even understand what that movie was about or why I had the soundtrack, but what was it? It's like maybe close to 8-hour drive, with just one CD on repeat. But it didn't matter because we was on a mission. Honestly, I could have rode to LA with the same song on repeat the entire time. But nevertheless, it was still a good time. That was actually the first time I visited a Fat Burger. And then, of course, anytime I go to LA, I have to go to the beach. As stereotypical as it may seem, I have to always go to the beach when I'm in Southern California. California is getting hit hard with those fires right now. So definitely my condolences to those who have lost family members in the fire. Prayers to those who have lost homes and lost possessions, and also to those who are in areas affected by that heavy smoke. There should be rain. I guess there's rain predicted soon, and that should help as far as like fires. It might present some other complications as far as search and rescue, but it would be good to get those fires under control. Also, what was that? There were a few deaths this week, but I recently saw the tribute that P. Diddy did for Kim Porter, so that was beautiful. That was really nice. So rest in peace to Kim Porter. And that's going to conclude the show. Don't forget to follow Talk Flirty Podcast here on Spreaker. Talk Flirty is also available on many other platforms. You can call in to Talk Flirty Podcast between Monday through Friday, after 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, between 6 and 8, you can call in to Talk Flirty Podcast. The phone number is 916-262-4857. Again, that's 916-262-4857. Talk Flirty, you can follow on Facebook. Go and like my page. Invite friends. Talk Flirty is also on Instagram and Twitter. The handle is Talk Flirty Podcast all around. Talk Flirty is one word. And you can always email show topics, feedback, schedule guest interviews at talkflirtypodcast@gmail.com. Until next time.